Welcome to yet another FIFA 23 World Cup special, and today I'm going to kick off with a quarter-final show of the FIFA Women's World Cup 23 Down Under in Australia and New Zealand. It's been one hell of encounters. Tumekuwa na games zingine moto sana, moto bin moto. First of all, the first of the quarter-final ties featured Spain versus Netherlands, and the other one was Sweden versus Japan. Yeah, the 2011 champions were facing off with the ever-present, the Swedish, the black look. I don't know if I got it right or wrong, but they have a very funny name. Yeah, Sweden were facing off against Japan in the second quarter-final match, and that one was slated to be around 10:30 in the UK, and about 12:30 in East Africa and Standard Arabian time. Yeah, so the first of the matches featured the US against the Netherlands. That was an early kickoff because it was a morning kickoff for some of the people. It was around somewhere between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock there in the morning. So I don't know if many people got to see it, got to watch it. I myself just watched a couple of the minutes. I think I was able to get the second half. Yeah, I got it through the second half. And Spain came out tops, beating the highly experienced Netherlands. Yeah, which is a surprising result even for me, because I was backing up the Netherlands to use the experience to come through, but it seems like they were not able to cope up with the straight and the heaviness and the pace of the Spanish. Yeah, Aitana Bonmati, Redondo. This game was one for ages. Basically, I'll catch up with it and see the semi and see up the highlights. But from the looks of it and the social media buzz it created, it was a very impressive match, especially for Barcelona young talent. Salma, is it Salma? Yeah, or is it Selena? But I know the second name, Parajuelo. Yeah, she plays for Barcelona, coming off from a very impressive season with Barcelona, having won the double, the Spanish League and the UEFA Women's Champions League. So she was able to continue her streak, and she proved decisive, grabbing the winner late on in the deep into extra time for Spain. Earlier on, the Kraft had conceded a penalty, which was coolly slotted in by Redondo. Is it Redondo or is it Hermoso? No, I'm not sure, so I'm going to check on it. But Spain took on an early lead, courtesy of a penalty, but the Netherlands quickly came back into the match deep into the second half, almost before the end of the match, by the Kraft. Yeah, she went on from villain to hero, having been the one who had conceded the penalty in the first place. She grabbed the equalizer for the Dutch, courtesy of a good cross from Victoria Pelova. Yeah, the Arsenal midfielder, Kamwinga, came out, had a good tournament. And the funny thing about this game was the absence of Jill Rood. Yeah, Jill Rood and Vanille in the donk. Actually, Jill Rood played, but she played just a couple of minutes. I don't know if she got an injury or if it was just being subpar, or being just not into the game, or maybe a tactical switch. No, but Jill Rood had very little to do in this game. She played a very short time, and so. But I know the Dutch really felt the absence of Van de Donk, already missing their key talisman in Vivian Miedema. So losing another experienced forward, experienced hand in Daniel Van de Donk, sort of proved decisive. But all in all, that was it. That was the game that happened to be. And they actually the same. So the Spanish were able to book their tickets to semi-final, the first of the bunch to do so. And the second match featured Japan, the highly experienced Japan, the 2011 World Cup winners. They were playing against Sweden, the ever impressive Swedish. The ones who knocked out the defending champions, US, even if it's through penalties. Yeah. So, riding on that wave, on that morale, on that momentum of having knocked out the US, the Swedish took on Japan in a very dominating match. I must say that you could not have really predicted Japan were going to be 2-0 down deep into second half by the 80th minute, by the 85th minute. That was not in the cards at all. Sweden really had a game planned. They played as to their strengths, and it was no surprise saying Amanda Ilestedt, I don't know if I got it right, but Amanda Ilestedt gave them the lead in the first half. Yeah, so Sweden took on the lead in the first half, but even despite taking the lead, Sweden were playing a very, very good game. They were able to contain the ferociousness of the Japanese. They were able to keep them at bay and maintain them. Japan never really got going. Even by the scoreline can tell you that it was a hard-fought affair, but if you really, really watch the match, Japan were never in the match at all. Sweden really, really had a good game, composed on the defense, well set up, and a very well organized midfield as well, linking up with the play. Stina Blackstenius is there, linking up with the likes of Aslani and Rolfo, who were very lively in the match. They kept the Japanese at bay. They almost break up all their plays, and it was a good show for the Swedish side. I guess the momentum of knocking out US really, really pushed them on and on. And also again in the second half, they benefited from being cool on the spot, as Man City women's Angel Daly comfortably took the penalty from the spot and scored a good goal, giving the Swedes a 2-0 advantage into the second half. You know why it is so surprising, because the reason is Japan had single-handedly dismantled Spain in the group stage, and then again they had single-handedly dismantled a very experienced Norwegian side in the round of 16. So seeing them not being able to spring up a lot of plays against Sweden was very, very surprising. Yes, they did come on in the second half, including hitting the bar twice and even not scoring the penalty. Yeah, missing a penalty. Thanks to Musovic's brilliance. She has been one of the key players in this tournament for Sweden. She has been the one to watch out. Remember I told you about the goalkeepers. The goalkeepers are coming out trumps. They're coming out trumps in this tournament, just like in the men's World Cup in 2022 Qatar. Yeah, so Musovic was able to bail out her side, not just in the penalties. He also stringed up a couple of good saves, but generally Sweden were able to contain the match. Japan came into life in the 85th minute there. Yeah, because they were able to score a goal in the 87th minute, a well taken counter goal, because they had been pushing. But Sweden were able to contain them. They were able to hold out for the lead. They were able to hold out for the win, and they booked their tickets also to face Spain in the first semi-final match of the tournament, which is going to be on Tuesday. Yeah, it's going to be next week Tuesday. But that was a very, very impressive. I can say that was a very impressive performance from Sweden. I for myself did not expect it. I did not expect them to be this impressive. I know earlier I had predicted Sweden were going to get through, but I did not expect them to be this impressive, because don't look at the results. If you watch the match, it was a very, very impressive performance from Sweden. Yeah, both on and off the ball. They were good with their chances. They took them. They played to their strengths, and they were able to contain Japan. So that is a very, very impressive future. And so, with the exit of Japan, this one opened up for a new champion, because for the first time we're going to see a new champion. We're going to see a new winner in the tournament, as all the other previous winners have been knocked out. Japan was the only one remaining. Yeah, Germany, 2-time winners, have been already knocked out, and then we have Japan and Norway, all 1-time winners. They have been knocked out as well. And the reigning 4-time winners, US, they were knocked out earlier in the round of 16 by Sweden. So Sweden have knocked out 2 champions, 2 previous champions, yeah, in US and Japan. I wonder if they can be able to go on and win it, if you can be able to knock off the previous winners. I mean, it really speaks a lot for yourself. It really does a lot for your morale. So the Spanish better be wary. They better be careful. They better be cautious of this Sweden. They are not playing about. But again, also Sweden have to be very, very wary of Spain. Spain, although they are first timers in the semi-final and in the quarters, as they were again in the quarters, they are proving to be a very, very well organized side. Yeah, with the likes of Puteas, and as I mentioned earlier before, Aitana Bonmati, Redondo, the likes of Hermoso, the likes of Parajuelo. They have a whole load of depth of young talents and great tacticians and great players. Especially if you look at the whole Barcelona side, and then you throw in the Real Madrid 2 or 3, 4 players in. It's looking like a very, very good side. Ramona Cardona on the flanks, backed up by, on the other flank, we have Onya Batil at right back. They are a well set up side. And then I think Spain are playing as well, with the coming off their scandalous actions before, where some of the players actually refused to honor the call up and return to the team due to some reasons. There was basically a tussle, an issue going on in the Spanish national team, with a host of players missing due to their stance on not participating for the team. The likes of Mapi Leon, yeah, even the likes of Puteas, Bonmati themselves, they changed their stance last minute and got back into the team. So can't wait to see how that one will unfold. In the other quarterfinals, we featured the home side against Australia, which kicked off on Saturday 10:30 p.m. Actually today, it was kicking off in 10:30 in the morning, and that one was a very, very exciting game. Yeah, it went to a goalless draw throughout the 120 minutes, but it was nothing but full of action and excitement and surprise and dramas. Almeida made a brilliant save. He made a really brilliant last-ditch save to deny Emery Fowler, who seemed to have taken the lead for Australia. He missed a sighter. Guys, that game was pure drama and vibes. He missed a sighter, and the Almeida came out like a winner in that matchup. The likes of Selma Basha, Kashui, Wendy Renard, they all put in a great shift. The likes of Gioro, Grace, Diani, Lesa Moa, Kenza Dali, they really put on a great shift. But I think they could not have contained, just as I predicted, they could not have been able to contain the surge of the home fan, because if you could have been in the match at that point in time, it was all Australia. The home fans really came through for Australia, for the Matildas. The Matildas were really buoyed. They were buoyed by the home support, and you could have felt it when Samka came on. It was really deafening. Like, it was all noise. Whenever a French player touched the ball, there were all boos around him, and it was not because they hated them or nothing, but it was just to boost on the home team. The Matildas really benefited from this support of the home crowd. Yeah, I really packed up Brisbane Stadium. Really came through for the Matildas. The game went on. good performances from the likes of Caitlin Ford, Steph Curtley. Steph Curtley actually pulled off another great last-ditch tackle to deny France from what seemed to be a straight pass to Diani. She was able to put in her foot and clear the ball. And also Mackenzie Arnold. Mackenzie Arnold was really impressive, as well as the ever-present Alana Kennedy. The likes of Russell and Gori, they came through the match. They were not as impressive as in their previous ones, but they put in a good shift, just to get them through the win. Yeah. And also this game came out surprising, because just when the game, just when the final whistle was about to be blown, right in the end of the 120, the French coach Renard, he made a substitute for the goalkeepers with one eye on the penalty. That was a really surprising. It really, not a lot of people were expecting that, but he turned into prime Louis van Gaal for the Netherlands. Remember when he used to bring on the former Newcastle goalkeeper just in time for the penalties, and then the Netherlands would go on and win in the penalty shootouts. So Renard also pulled another rabbit on the hat, and she substituted first choice goalkeeper Perraud Maignan for the experienced shot stopper, the number one jersey. Can't remember her name, but she actually, it seems like she was brought on in the tournament for this sort of moments, and she did almost. The gamble did almost work, because she saved like 2 penalties, but the night just wasn't for the French. The French suffered I think it is their 5th or 6th knockout exit in major tournaments, because in the 2013 Euros they were knocked out in the quarterfinals. The 2015 World Cup, they were knocked out in the quarterfinals. Mind you, the World Cup in 2015, it was a very close one, although they were knocked out in the quarterfinals. Then in 2019 again at home, they were knocked out in the quarterfinals, and in the Summer Olympic Games, they were knocked out in the quarterfinals again. And then last year Euros in England, they were knocked out in the semis. Yeah. So to lose again in the quarterfinals has to be very traumatic. It has to create some sort of mental block on the French team. And if you look at the French squad, this is one of their golden generations. The Kashawis, the likes of Kashawi, Selma Basha, Katitu Diani. I know they were missing Antoniette Katoto, but they still had a great team. Their all-time top scorer, Eugene Lesomon, and the ever-impressive, ever eternal leading captain, Wendy Renard. This team was very it is one of France golden generations in the women's team, and still they couldn't get through past the quarters. Really unlucky for them. So it took 20 penalties to decide a winner. With the first one was taken by Basha, and Basha really she had a good game, but she took a very poor penalty. First of all, it lacked the power, it lacked the pace, and so it was easily saved by Mackenzie Arnold. It actually didn't trouble the goalkeeper. The first one for Australian was taken by Caitlin Ford. She took an almost similar penalty, but the difference was this one it had pace and power in it, so it was able to get to the back of the net, because the goalkeeper, as experienced as she was, she just couldn't get to it. Then from the next one, the French scored the next 3 penalties, very well taken, very well taken penalties, and we witnessed a very rare miss from the standing skipper, Steph Curtley. She missed from the spot, which is very rare of her. She has been very good from the penalty duties throughout the tournament, in the group stages and in the knockouts. But that one did not deter them. Some car came in and took hers very well and slotted in the middle. And then the decisive penalty came to Kenzadali. Kenzadali actually had to take the penalty twice, because the first time she took it, Mackenzie Arnold was adjudged to have been off her line, so she took it again, and in both instances Mackenzie Arnold was able to save. The funny thing is, Dali, she placed the penalty in the same direction, the same spot as before. I guess she really thought she could get one over her WSL colleague. But aside from the penalty miss, Kenzadali has had a great tournament. Remember, this is her first major tournament that she's participating in. Yeah, because in the Euros, in the summer Euros, she really didn't feature much. So for her to play this much into the World Cup, this was, I think, her first major tournament to really participate in, yeah, and to really play a part in it. But it just happened, it wasn't the night for the French again. Courtney Vine scored the decisive penalty after seeing misses from Mackenzie Arnold, who herself, after making a good save and the duty falling on her to put her country through to the semi-finals, she hit the bar. And then again she had to pull on a couple of few saves and also depend on luck, yeah, because in Besho's penalty, the 19-year-old, she really had deceived the keeper. Yeah, she really had a good penalty, but it just struck the bar on the wrong margin, on the wrong side, because it struck the bar and went out. That was a very down moment for the teenager. But with penalties, you can never really tell, because they're just a 50-50 affair. Yeah. So Australia advanced through penalties at the expense of the French, 7-6, and booked their ticket to the semi-final match. This was going to be a very hard-hitting affair, just as I said. And for some reason, I'm saying my prediction is coming true. Yeah. So Australia, they were able to get through past the French as I thought they would, although I thought it was going to be in regular time. The last quarter-final match of the day featured England versus Colombia. Yeah, Colombia, the very impressive Colombian side, who, remember, by the way, they are participating in this tournament for the first time. They are the first timers. So even for them to reach the quarterfinals, it was a record. It was breaking a record on its own. So they came in. They did not even entertain England. They gave them a run for their money. It was a very impressive game. It was a very entertaining one. And for the first half, the Lionesses, they were pegged back. They were being outplayed. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I know I had also predicted the Lionesses to get through to the semis and book a date with Australia, but for the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so, the Lionesses were not playing. They were destabilized by the young, energetic Colombians, South Americans, who put in really a good shift. Linda Caicedo was once again impressive. Yeah, she gave the experienced Lucy Bronze a very hard time, and he was one of Colombia's brightest sparks, who, by the way, themselves, they had to deal with an early loss to injury to Arias. Yeah, I think it's Damaris Arias, who went off with what looked like to be a sprain of the knee. I really hope it is not another ACL, because the ACLs in this tournament, they're getting disappointing, man. It's getting disappointing losing. It's already hard to lose a match, and then losing a player. No. We just hope it is not as serious as it seemed to be, because she tried to really get back into the match, but her knee just gave in. She could not continue, and so they were forced to make a substitution early into the game. Yeah. But that one did not faze them, as they still were able to keep England at bay, and for some moment they were even able to dominate them. In the sequence of play that led to them getting their goal, which was, by the way, which was a very, very brilliant goal, a stunner. Yeah. Santos caught Mary Earps a little bit off her line, and she made one of those that seemed the cross goals, the ones that seem that they are like a cross, they are like a goal. But as you can see, the goal again and again, it was well intended. It was reaching out for the far corner, for the far post, because she had already spotted Mary Earps was a bit off her line. So she gave Colombia the lead, and they were able to press on and gas on the English side. But as the game went on, yeah, due to the injury that I mentioned earlier in the match was added 7 minutes of added time were played, and England were able to get their equalizer just before the end of the first half. Yeah, in those after those added times, and like 4 minutes before the time was added, so around the 40th minute, England were really, really impressive. They really pushed on. They really, really dominated the Colombians. And as the time was added for extra 7 minutes, they continued. And it is their push and their surge on for equalizer that really brought it home. Yeah, thanks to a mishandling of the shot by the Colombian goalkeeper Perez, who really fumbled with the ball. Yeah, let's just call it as it is. She was unlucky in that one. She fumbled with the ball, and Lauren Hemp was the quickest to react, yeah, to the ball, and she latched on to it for the equalizer. She actually had a very good tournament, Lauren Hemp. She had not a good tournament. She had a good game in this one. Yeah. England, they did miss Lauren James, and even in the way they were playing, you could feel that they were missing the deft touch of the young Chelsea forward, but they were able to go through. And in the second half, Arsenal's new signing, the one they bought in from Manchester United, Alessia Russo, pulled up with the goods and gave them the winner after a very great impressive play from Lucy Bronze and Lauren Hemp again, who, again, if I have to say again, she really had a good game. I think she was my player of the match for me. Yeah, despite the official player of the match being handed to Russo, but for me, I'd have to say it was Lauren Hemp. But although Russo did play a very good game, especially off the ball, she was very good with the press. She was always pressing the defenders. Her tireless effort off the ball. She had very good work rate. She had a very good work rate, by the way, and it was only fair that she got the winner for the Lionesses. It was a good reward for her. So that was that. England progressed to the semi-finals to book a date with Australia, and this is the second time that the English are reaching the semi-finals, having done so again back in 2019, where they bowed out to the eventual winners, the Americans, back in France. So let's see, second time, are they going to be lucky? Although they're going to be facing a very hard opponent in Australia, because as I mentioned again, the reason why majorly Australia got the best of France is because they are the home team. You cannot underestimate being the home team. England themselves are a testament to what being a host team can do, having won off the England the home Euros back in the summer of 2022. So you can't underestimate the value of playing at home, of playing a home tournament. This one is going to be very hard. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be very hard to predict. In my earlier segment, I had rooted for England. And I'm still sticking to them. I know it's going to be hard, but I am almost hoping. I still see they're going to be. I still think they're going to get through. They're going to get through to the finals. And in the other, and by the way, remember Australia already, they have made a record. Yeah, they are the first Australian team, male or female, men or women, youth, senior, name it, in all stages to make it to a World Cup semi-final. So that one is a huge feat on its own. These girls are changing the view and the history of football in Australia. It will never be the same again. They are making great history. They are making great records, and it is really positive. It is really positive for the women's game back in Australia. Yeah, and I think this home tournament is generating the desired effect, because as you can see, the whole country has rallied behind them, including the co-hosts New Zealand, who are knocked off earlier in the group stage. They have now rallied against they have now rallied together with their neighbors and their co-hosts, Australia. And this one is going to be making whoever is going to face Australia, which is England, is going to be in a very precarious spot. England themselves, in the Colombia match, they seem to have very few supporters, and for some of them, most of them, they were the Australians themselves, because being members of the Commonwealth and having a host of their players, a lot of the Aussie players, they play in the WSL back in England, so that could have factored in for them supporting the English. But now it's going to be England against the whole country. Yeah, so I'm really excited to see how they're going to fare in that one. In the other semi-final, is going to be featuring Spain versus Sweden. It will be played on Tuesday. Yeah, it will be played on Tuesday. The Spanish will be playing against the ever-experienced Swedish. Yeah, Sweden themselves, they have never reached in the semi-finals of the World Cup. Last time, I think they were knocked out in the quarters as well. So this one is a first for them. And as I mentioned, against Spain, it's a first time they are really reaching into the semi-final, because most of the time they are knocked out in the round of 16. So are we going to see a first ever final appearance for Sweden or Spain? Yeah. How is it going to unfold? That one is one to look out for. As I said earlier before, all these teams, they have never won the World Cup. Most of them, the closest anyone has ever been to get into to winning it has been England in the 2019 semi-finals. So this one is going to be a first-time winner. There's going to be a first-time winner. And we have the Lionesses, we have the Matildas, we have the Blaugelots, and then we have the Spanish team, Spanish women team. Yeah. This one is going to be very exciting. I cannot wait. This World Cup has been very exciting. First of all, it has been very exciting. Imagine the adrenaline, the nervousness, and the pressure that is on Australia, being the home team. So much is expected from them, and they're still coming up with the goods. And then you have your first time participators, the first time quarterfinalists and semi-finalists, Spain. This one it has been very impressive. Yeah, you cannot underestimate now any side. I still maintain my picks for the winners. I'm going to stick with England, the Lionesses, and even if they don't make it to the finals, I'm going to stick with Australia. Yeah, basically what I'm saying is I'm still predicting England to get through, to get the best of Australia in the semi-final, to book their slots in the final. And now on the other side, I had predicted a Netherlands win. So since Netherlands have been knocked out by Spain, I'm going to go for Sweden. I'm still going to go for experience. Experience is going to come through in this game, because Spain, they have been good and all, and they have, on paper, they have the best squad in terms of the likes of Putellas, Redondo, Boitana, Aitana Bonmati and all. But don't rule out the Swedes. The Swedes, they have already knocked off 2 former champions in the US and Japan. So I can't rule out them. In fact, I'm predicting them to come through to get the best of Spain. It will be an all-European encounter, and therefore I'm thinking maybe a slight narrow win. Yeah, a narrow win, probably a 2-1 or a 1-0. Yeah. So I'm picking Sweden to book their ticket to the finals, and on the other hand, England will get the best of Australia. Also a very narrow win, probably a 1-0 or a 2-1 as well. But I will not be surprised if both of these games they go to the penalties, yeah, and also they go to extra time and to penalties possibly, because as you can see, a lot of play is riding on these games. There's a lot to play for, so people are very serious. The girls are very serious. The players are very, very well connected. They are very well alert, and they're not taking anything into chance. So that's what I think. That's what I think the games will end out. They will play out like that. And as for the finals, suppose England get into the finals, suppose I'm right and they get into the finals and they face off Sweden, it will be a rematch of the quarterfinals of the Euros, whereby England came out trumps. And I don't know what is playing into the psychology of it all, but I still think if England face Sweden in the finals, they're going to get through. They're going to win. Remember, they're the reigning European champions. And if they get through to the finals, we're going to see the return of Lauren James. And she might be decisive. Yeah. As I said it. So keep an eye on this one. Yeah. In the event that for some reason England they are eliminated by Australia, then I'm picking Australia to go all the way and win it. I don't care who the other opponent is going to be. If Australia get past England and make it to the finals, they cannot lose a home final at home. They cannot lose a final at home. They won't lose. I will put my money on it. Yeah. If Australia get past England and make it to the finals, they're going to go all the way and win it. Yes. So that's it. But generally, my pick still remains England. The Lionesses are going to take it. Yeah. So the semi-finals are slated for Tuesday. Yeah, Spain versus Sweden is going to be the first one to be played on Tuesday. And then Australia versus England is going to be played on Thursday. Yeah, it's going to be played on Thursday with just 1 day rests. Actually, no. The second semi-final, there's England versus Australia, is going to be played on Wednesday. Yeah, so that they will rest on Thursday, and then the final be played on Saturday on the weekend. Yeah, to wrap it off, and the third place to be played on Friday. Yes, so keep up with the dates. Tuesday we are going to see Spain versus Sweden, and then on Wednesday we are going to see Australia versus England in the second semi-final, and the final one, and then the final is going to be played on Saturday. Yeah, and the third play playoff is going to be played on Friday. Yeah, so that's it. That's my take. Anyways, it's been an impressive World Cup so far, by the way. True to the theme, it's been beyond greatness. This has been a very, very good tournament. Even for the sides that have been knocked off, it has been huge. And this is good for the women's game. I completely love it. And for the first timers, the Jamaicans, the Moroccos, the Colombians, they should not be ashamed of themselves. They put in good fights. For example, Morocco were able to be the first Arab nation to play in the World Cup. They were able to be the first African nation to reach the round of 16s as well, alongside Nigeria. So this one is going to be good. They can only build on better from that one. They can only go up and up. So as we've seen in the previous tournaments, the tournament gets the excitement keeps getting better and better. The tournament, the game keeps improving. Yeah, things keep getting better and better and better. Like, for instance, if you can see the turnout for the last women's tournament, the Euros that were played in England, the turnout was up. It was a great increment, a great improvement from the 2019 World Cups. And let me not fool you, the 2023 World Cup in Australia, it has also been an improvement. It has also seen a rise in the attendances, in the vibe, in the general growth of the game. And you can see it is not very, very surprising to find the World Cup trending on Twitter. It is, most of the time, it is the number one trend. Despite it clashing with the opening of the Premier League, it's still able to maintain the numbers. So let's keep an eye on it. It's been an exciting tournament so far. And by the way, so far our top scorers for the tournament, I go on and back Amanda Ilesdat. Amanda, she has 4 goals, and remember, she's a defender. She has 4 goals so far. I continue to back her up. She might end up as the top scorer. And remember, as I said, the top scorer is going to be a 6-goal top scorer. It's not going to get beyond 6 goals. It's going to be 6 goals. So I still have Amanda Ilesdet, and also I can throw in Russo because she has 2 goals, and so far the top scorer has 4 goals. So she still has a chance in 2 games. In 2 games she can score 1 and 1, so she can match the top scorer, or she can even do more. So, and her being a forward actually puts her in the best of positions to actually do that. And also, don't rule out Lauren James. If England make it to the finals, Lauren James might just come in and doing the whole golden boot by herself. Remember, she has 3 goals already. She had a brace in the game against China, and she had 1 goal against Denmark. So that gives her 3 goals. And also, we have who else do we have? So far, I and also don't rule out Aitana Bonmati. But so far, my top scorer pick, I'll give it to, I have to pick one. If I had to pick one name, I'd say Amanda Ilesdat. And if Sweden get knocked out, I'm going with Alessia Russo. So that's it. So anyways, just remember the dates. As I've said before, we have the first quarter. They have the first semi-final match next week on Tuesday. Spain versus Spain versus the Sweden. Spain versus Sweden on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday is going to be Australia versus England. Keep an eye on it, and don't you dare miss out on this one. It's been beyond exciting. It's been beyond entertaining. The FIFA World Cup 23. It's been beyond greatness. See you once again. I'm out. And remember to catch us on Google Podcasts, on Apple Podcast, and Castbox. We are also on Spotify, and we are also on Podcasters for Spotify, formerly Anchor. And you can follow us on Twitter on our page, the Fantasy Football KE Podcast. That's our Twitter page. Get interactive, tweet us, share with us your thoughts and opinions, and leave us your feedback. We always reply, and we always follow back. For those who follow us. So get interactive. Follow us on all socials, and remember, Fantasy Football KE. That's the only thing. That's the only name that should be on your playlists. Adios.